Check, 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 check.
Right now?
Oh, it's so good to be at Fabric this morning. I'll bring a few songs. You just keep talking to your folks. This first one's a John Prine song, one of his last songs that he wrote. He's the only one that can put the word pork chop into a beautiful song. I woke up this morning to the garbage truck. Looks like this old horseshoe run out of luck. And if I came home, would you let me in? Fry me some pork chops and forgive my sin. Surround me with your boundless love. Confound me with your boundless love. I was drowning in the sea, lost as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love. Sometimes this old heart is like a washing machine. It bounces around until my soul comes clean. And when I'm clean and hung out to dry, I'm gonna make you laugh until you cry. Surround me with your boundless love. Confound me with your boundless love. I was drowning in the sea, lost as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love. And if by chance I should find myself at risk of falling from this jagged cliff, I look look below and I look above, I'm surrounded by your boundless love. Surround me with your boundless love. Confound me with your boundless love. I was drowning in a sea, lost as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love. So I like it when everybody sings. Even if you just got the melody, la, la, la is fine. And listening is fine, but let's do this together. Surround me with your boundless love. Now we say, confound me with your bound. Confound me with your boundless love. I was drowning in the sea. I was drowning in the sea, lost as I could be, lost as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love. When you found me with your boundless love. Yeah. You can snap your fingers or wiggle your toes or clap, whatever feels right. We're singing songs about community today, talking about community, and I always remind myself that the community is not just a human community, but we can be so very supported by the natural world. When I was driving here this morning, gosh, I get excited when I see swans. And there they were there a couple days ago, and I'm thinking, what the heck are they still doing around here? I live out by Stillwater, and so happy to see them. And then this morning, for the first time, I saw their two little ones with the two big ones. And I know enough to know that they're called, are you ready? Cygnets. I sound very smart. That's one of my few words that I know for little ones. Cygnets. Two cygnets. So that's part of our community this morning. All right, I'm going to sing a song here that's maybe you hear about Rumi the poet. Apparently Rumi, who lived in the 1200s over in what is now Turkey. Apparently Rumi would just walk around and talk when he was in his heyday. And people said, holy cripes, listen how he's talking. Someone has to write this stuff down. So other people wrote his stuff down. He didn't write like a poet. He just talked and walked around and seemed to be in love with everything. He had challenging poems too. He had downturned poems too. But Rumi made it into this next song. This is a song of community because it invites the part of ourselves that hides in the corner, that we don't want to be in community, parts of ourselves anyway. And he invites everybody. So we've been singing this. I sing every Saturday morning over at the City of Lakes Waldorf School with a group that we call Perfection Free Singing. And it's just meant to invite you, if you're not sure about how the heck you sing. We check American Idol at the door and Simon Cowell and all those critical voices. And we just sing old school. And no one records anything, which makes us all very happy. So we sing this song. This is a Rumi song. It's for all of us. It goes, come whoever you are, this is not a house of despair. If you've broken your vows, 1,000 times we don't care. Lover of leaving, oh doubtful one, come whoever you are, come again, again, come. That's the whole thing. Well, there's a little other part. We'll get to that. But this is meant to rock out, so let's try to do that. Come whoever you are, this is not a house of despair. If you've broken your vows, 1,000 times we don't care. Lover of leaving, oh doubtful one, come whoever you are, come again, again, come. I saw some lips moving. I was just blaring up here, so I couldn't hear anything but myself. That's not community. But we'll try it again. Here we go. And then there's a Farsi word in the language that Rumi may have spoken these words. It's Bosa. That's my Minnesota accent on that Farsi word, Bosa. And so we just say it like this. Bosa, come again, again, come. Try that. Bosa, come again, again, come. Bosa, come again, again, come. Bosa, come again, again, come. So the fun part with people like this that may be singers, I know, maybe in junior high, grade school, or maybe right now, but you might have a harmony that you can hear over the top of that, and then it all of a sudden becomes much more than I could ever create. Try it. Here we go. Bosa, come again, again, come. That sounds good. Last chance, let's do the whole thing. We sound pretty good. We should get ourselves a bus like the Partridge Family. Let's take off. All right, we got one more tune, but before that, as long as we're talking about community, I have a Robert Creeley poem. Wonderful tiny poem. Tiny poems are nice because you can remember them. Love comes quietly, finally, drops about me, on me, in the old ways. What did I know, thinking myself able to go alone all the way? So tiny. Let's do it again. Love comes quietly, finally, drops about me, on me, in the old ways. What did I know, thinking myself able to go alone all the way? So we'll do one more song, one of my favorite songs written by a local songwriter, but it should be a world-known song, and it sort of is. Mr. Peter Mayer, I hope that you know his work. If you don't, go start. 1,000,000 great songs. But I think this song that he wrote must have been about 20 years ago, 20 some years ago. It was so profound for me as someone that grew up in the church and yet was struggling with the constraints of my childhood, religion, and those beliefs. And he does a good job of showing the community that's even bigger than the human race in this song. When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time when Moses split the sea in two and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. Now I can keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Oh, wine from water is not so small, but an even bigger magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was a rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But now I'm walking with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Oh, read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. How things have, I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. I'm going to circle back because those words are so good. I screwed them up. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate, hand me down. But I'm walking with the reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Let's all sing that. It's a good little ending for all of us, right? Everything is holy now. A couple more. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now.
Good morning, Fabric. Hi. Yeah, and thank you, Brother Timothy. That was wonderful to have you here. And I noticed there's a few CDs for Brother Timothy over at the table there. So if you're interested, you can check those out. My name is Melanie. It's nice to be here with you today. One thing I wanted to share that I love about Fabric and being part of this community is Fabric groups. We have these small groups that meet. We call them groups because that's what they are. We like to just, say it like it is. So, but they're a very important part of my life. I've done a number of groups over the years, and left to my own devices, I would just stay home with a book every night. And so it's good for me to have 1 week on the calendar where it's like, no, you're going to get out and talk to people and communicate. So that's really fun for me. So I would encourage anyone to give it a try if you haven't. So one other thing I really like about Fabric is in the summer, sometimes we go to the Minnehaha Falls Bandstand. And so if you're like me, this is the summer for you because we are being kicked out of here while they do some construction. So we will be at the falls most of the summer at the Minnehaha Falls Bandstand starting next week. So do not come here next week. Go to the Minnehaha Falls Bandstand. And I think there are we're there through September 3rd, and there are just 3 weeks where we can't meet there. And so we're working on some other ideas for what to do for those weeks. But one of them is June 25th, and we don't have a final destination yet, but keep an ear out for what that will be. One idea, if you need to keep track of where we're going, on our website, if you scroll to the bottom of the home page, there's the calendar, and it's really a nice, cute calendar. Katie does a great job with that. There she is. And if you haven't noticed, if you click on an event, there's a thing that says copied to my calendar, and then you can just then you won't forget because it'll be on your calendar. So a little idea there. So that's the falls. One other thing kind of related to that, a couple weeks ago we had an event, the Fabric Second Mile, and we're trying to build some momentum over the summer, and with that there's a QR code on your Sunday paper. Oh, I forgot to say the Sunday paper. So if you didn't get a Sunday paper, there's some right over by the door there. So you should pick one up because there's a QR code on there. And it also has other information about the stuff I'm talking about. But on that, there's a sign-up form. So if you haven't already, check that out, and you can sign up to help out with things at the falls, some events, other stuff. So do that, please. Check it out. Let's see, what else? So your Sunday paper, that's important. In there, there's a communication card. It's for communication because we like to just call things what they are. So you put your name on the front, and on the back you can put prayer requests or questions or comments, and those will go in the basket at the end. And we do have a prayer team that, looks at your prayers each week, so that's important to us. Or you can also put your notes for your welcome on the back, and you can do that if you want. Let's see, what else? For the kids this week, we have some fun tables. It looks like the kids have found the fun tables, as kids will do. There are kids' Sunday papers in the baskets there. They can check those out. We also have our coffee, tea, water over there, so feel free to get some or get a refill. The bathrooms are down that hall. There's a gender-neutral bathroom. If you go to the right, and there should be signs, it's through to the teacher's lounge. And then I also think the Nest is open today, and you can take little ones there if you want, and there's a live stream going if you want to stay in there, or you can drop them off for kids 6 months and older. Does anyone feel like I missed anything? Shout it out? No? Okay. If you want to get up and say hi, find someone you haven't seen in a while. If you need a topic, I was thinking we could talk about like food stuff, like if you've gone to a restaurant that you liked, or you've tried a recipe, or something you want to try, you could go with that, or just say hi, whatever. So, all right, thanks.
Need my microphone. There we go. I got it. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wow. So many people have come together to make this happen. It's already been so great. Thank you, Tim, for being here. Thank you, people, for singing. And I got a message from some people from Fabric that are at Lake Superior at Tetegooch right now with lots of mosquitoes, but they're having a great time. But hey, we're here, and I don't see any bugs. The air is fresh, so welcome to this space. Also, I know the Bergs went and checked out Minnehaha Falls this morning, right? Just to see how, testing it ahead of time, seeing. Beautiful, good. It's all ready for us, so yeah. This is how it works, people. We help each other, we do our best, and it all works out. How are you? I bet someone's asked you that this morning. I bet you've asked yourself that question, because we care, right? We care about each other's well-being. We care about our own well-being. It's kind of our main job, right? And that's what we're talking about today. Let's be honest, there are some things that just don't seem so well going on, probably in your own life. There's some aches, some pains, some struggles, some hard things going on, and certainly in the world, it's not hard to list things that seem a little bit unwell. And so we're going to be honest about that and look at it and see where we might be able to go beyond that sense of powerlessness over that and despair, and get beyond the idea that you alone has anything to do with healing. So let's do it. I want to start by inviting all of you to do a thought experiment. So I'm going to give you 3 thoughts to try on about yourself. And as I say them, I just want you to practice it like saying it to yourself, okay? You can even whisper it if that helps. And just see how it feels. And just compare all 3, see what you notice. So here's the first one. I am amazing. I am amazing. I am amazing. Just try that on, see how it feels. Kids, you can do that too. I am amazing. All right, number 2 thought. I'm not amazing. Not amazing. Try that one on. I am not amazing. How does that feel? Does it ring true at all? Okay, number 3. I am part of something amazing. I am part of something amazing. Try that on. You happy? Does that make you happy to think that? Me too. Yeah. What about others? What does that feel like well, actually, let me have you hold up a finger. There is I am amazing was 1. I am not amazing was number 2. I am part of something amazing was number 3. So just in a second, I'm going to have you all hold up. Well, you can just do it now. The one that felt like the most easy to say to you, the one you kind of wanted to say. Hold up your fingers. People are thinking. This is a thinking bunch. I see a lot of 3s. I see a 1. Yeah. That's pretty consistent with when I talk to people, what I heard. Like most people are like, oh, yeah, that 3rd one, that seems the easiest. That's the one that was easiest for me to say. But really, they're all true. There's a little kernel of truth in all of them. I mean, yeah, you are amazing. You are. There are lots of things about you that are amazing and about your life. And you're not amazing. There are things that you're just not good at. And welcome to humanity, right? Yeah, so I actually want you to make a list on your Sunday paper, and the kids have a version on the tables that you can use too. And grown-ups, there's one on the back. And if you're not a person who normally writes in your Sunday paper, just consider this a special invitation today to try it out. Give it a shot. Why not? What's it going to hurt, right? So what I want to ask you to do to help practice this for yourself, make this your own today, is just start a little laundry list. First column, I am amazing. So what would be a couple things you could put under there that you have to do and to share that are amazing? So just write a couple of things down. You're not going to have to share this with anyone else. You certainly can, but I'm not going to ask you to. So just be honest. You can just put initials or symbols or shortcuts or drawings. Don't make it fancy, just sketches. Just get some stuff there. And number 2, what about some things in that column? What are some things that aren't so amazing? Maybe things you just wish were a little different about you or your life, things that you need help with, things that just feel like they're maybe lacking a little bit. So get a couple things down. Get the wheels turning here. All right, good. So this is going to be the stuff that you kind of work with this morning, okay, as we go on here. We've been talking about going beyond, and this means like going beyond the stuff that we just sort of by default are used to doing or know to do, and seeing like what are the new possibilities that can be possible when we step into a new space, when we go beyond what we know, what we're used to. And this week it's about going beyond this idea that your well-being, and this is the first fill-in on there, that your well-being is about you alone. Your well-being doesn't come from just you alone, and your well-being isn't for just you alone. It's kind of a duh. I mean, I don't think I'm telling you anything new this morning. I mean, we could dig across like all the disciplines, the professions that you're all involved with, or the interests that you have, and probably those different disciplines all are coming to the same, hypothesis and conclusion that people, it's all about relationships. I mean, the wisdom traditions around the world and over time, they all talk about this interdependence, this connection, this oneness or integrity that we're all somehow a part of. So the United States has a person in charge of our health. Did you know that? Like in charge of looking at all of our well-being in this country. Like how is everybody doing? And that title is the Surgeon General. And you've probably heard me talk about Vivek Murthy. And Vivek is the current Surgeon General and was also had a stint with it in 2014. And since he started his work, he was wondering, okay, what do I need to work on? What's going on in our country? How are we? And went around, and he has spent this decade, almost a decade now, naming one thing that he believes pervades and underlies all the major social, physical, and even existential ills that we're facing together. Does anybody know what it is? You've probably heard me talk about it. Just loneliness. Yep, loneliness. So we have a way of symbolizing that around here. That's this. Just you. This is the you alone. So Murthy points out that the feeling of loneliness is very helpful to us. It's been something humans have depended on. It raises our stress hormones as it says, this isn't good. You're not supposed to be alone. You're made for community, right? You need to get back to the pack. It's like a symbol, like ask for help. You need something here. The problem comes in when we feel that fearfulness over too long of a time. And it sounds like right now, a lot of people are really feeling lonely. And it's become a chronic condition. So that means our stress hormones are raised. And our bodies, there's something in us saying, be afraid, right? This fear gets stoked. And I think it has something to do with these columns we just wrote in. Like, gosh, I better be amazing. If I don't have enough blank, if I'm not amazing enough, or I might get left behind. I might get left out. I might not be okay. We get this message barrage that if we don't have it all, do it all, be it all, we got to keep trying. That's our goal. So we got to get beyond that. We've got to get beyond. We've got to help other people get beyond this message. And I think step one of getting beyond this alone idea is to not let any of this stuff that you wrote down in column 1 or column 2 tell you that you're somehow apart from. Maybe you think, I am amazing. I don't need anybody. I don't need any help. In fact, people just need to do what I know is best, because if everyone would just cooperate, things would be fine, right? Or you might say, I am not at all amazing. I'm pretty dang broken, and I don't belong at all. I think I'm not connected because I'm not worth belonging. People don't really want me or need me. Both of those things have the same illusion going on. They both are operating out of this idea that somehow they're apart from. And that really is an illusion that we need to let go of and get beyond. So, all right, I think there are some quite amazing people and not amazing people that are going to help us see this. Greg is one of them. Come on up, Greg. Thank you. Everyone else, you know who you are.
Good morning, everybody. We are going to play a wonderful game called You Are Uniquely Shaped For, and it's a game about how we are better together. And I have invited my team, who is all here except for, coming down here is our Nirvana band member contestant, Eloise Carlson. All right, let's hear this guy, Eloise. We got Chris Lillahai. We have another Chris Meyer. And we have Gavin McCormick. And we have Catherine Anderson. Now, I have assembled this star-studded crew for very particular reasons, because they have to figure out what they are uniquely shaped for. We have 5 skills, 5 tasks that need to be accomplished, and each of them has to do one and only one. The trick is, which one are they uniquely shaped for? So we have 5 contests, and they will be hearing them one at a time, just like you are, and they need to decide amongst themselves, this one is for me, because if they do the wrong one, it doesn't look good. So, do you guys generally get the idea? For instance, so if the task was, I want someone to talk until everyone falls asleep, right, you'd all say, Greg, this one's for you. All right, exactly, so that's the idea. Now, there may be things that you like, well, I could do that, but I don't know that I'm really good at that. That probably is a sign that this one was for someone else. So you need to assess your own skills, your abilities, your experience, your shape, to figure out, I'm really good at this, or I'm not, and then ask other people, do you feel like this is something for you to do? Okay? So are we ready? All right, so here is task number 1. I need someone to lift a very heavy object. Who might this be? What do you think? Who here looks like they may be, studio audience, who looks like they may be equipped, uniquely shaped for that? All right, it's maybe. So, okay, so let's see if you can do it. Here is the very heavy object. Did I say one hand? One hand. One hand.
Just my teeth?
Onto the stool. All right. He did it. The mystery remains, was it supposed to be you? But, okay.
Strong like bull, smart like car.
Task number 2. Solve a higher math question problem. Do you want to go for it? Here's the question. Yes.
Okay.
Tau equals pi times x. What is x?
X, can I say thank you? X is tau over pi, and since tau is 2 pi, that means 2.
Is she right? There we go. She's right. All right. Okay, that is, we have 2 down, and the next task is I need someone to crawl through a very small hole. Who do you think that might be? Is it, here's the hole. Do you think you could try that, Gavin? He's going. Whoop, whoop.
Keep going.
Yay! All right. Now, just to make sure he's the right person, and it wasn't you, did you want to try it? Okay. All right, so far we are 3 down. Now, task number 4, we're down to who's left? Eloise and Chris. I need someone to tell a studio audience a joke.
What do you get when you cross an angry cow with a very sad sheep? 2 animals in a bad mood.
I just knew I didn't have to worry about that one. Oh, what do you think? So there's one person left, and we'll find out whether this person feels uniquely shaped for this and we got it right or not. Can you identify this bird? Everyone be quiet and listen. Oh,
Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you, too? That's a barred owl.
all right, let's see if she's right. All right. Well, congratulations. You won. You get our undying admiration. Thank you. And a round of applause. It's amazing when we get together and we all play the part that we can do best.
It's for the game show contestants. Way to go. Thank you, game show host with the most. Yeah, well, that was a great picture of how this works. Great picture. So, I mean, we all have a part to play, but we don't have every part, right? You play a part, but you don't play every part. And really, you shouldn't try. Chris, you shouldn't try to crawl through that hole, right? Or tell a joke. No. But this is, this is what we need to keep learning over and over again. In fact, it's not new news. There were lots of letters written to people trying to figure life out in the Bible. And in 2 of the longest letters, there's this image that I think is a lot like the game show that we just watched. And I want to give you a glimpse. And this is from one of the letters written by Paul. And here on the screen, you're going to see these words. And I think I'll just read them right off of there with you. They give a great image. So try to picture this in your head, everybody. Kids too. Imagine this. So indeed, the body, we're just talking about our bodies here. They consist of one member. Sorry, I'm starting over. Indeed, the body does not consist of one member, but many. Because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body. If the foot would say that, that would not make it any less a part of the body. Sorry, I'm not reading well right now. Anybody a good reader want to come up here? And if the ear would say, because I'm not an eye, I don't belong to the body, that wouldn't make it any less part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, okay, can you picture that? If the whole body were an eye. Kids are making some creatures. Can you just if anyone has a creature they're working on that's amazing, hold it up. A donut. Has anyone made one with an eye on it? Oh, lots of them have eyes. So what if the whole body was just an eye? Then, as it says here, where would the hearing be? And if the whole body were hearing, where would the sense of smell be? So we are part of an amazing creature, and it has all kinds of parts, just like the ones the kids are making. And we can see that this makes total sense, right? We need all those different parts to make it all work. And yet, when it comes to our lives, we think, oh, my part isn't that important, or it's not special, or my part is the most important, and everyone else should just be doing this, doing it my way. So that's where I think it's kind of cool to hear Paul, the writer of this, a little bit bigger sense of his story. So just to give you a glimpse of who he was, the guy who wrote this, Paul would have had kind of a lot of things we could list in the not amazing column. He was kind of late to the Jesus party. Jesus had already died when he joined in. In fact, before that, he had been killing people who thought Jesus was up to something good. He was not in favor of what Jesus was talking about, the trouble he was causing. That was until Paul had his own encounter, this mysterious kind of thing. It happened to him on a road, and it changed everything for Paul. It changed how he saw himself and how he saw what he was part of. It says something like scales actually fell from his eyes. It totally changed how he saw everything. And I wonder if when we change our perspective, a simple shift, how it can change everything. So Paul, he was really changed by this, and he couldn't stop talking about it. He wanted everyone to know what he had seen, even the truth about himself. So a bunch of times he's really honest about stuff like, I keep doing the things that I hate. I keep doing it over and over. Does that sound familiar to anyone in this room? You keep doing those things? You're like, what, this again? Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Turner and I are the only ones? Come on. Seriously? All right, thank you. We do the things we don't want, right? And yet, Paul, and I think his story invites us to think the same way about this, he kind of stopped worrying about that. He had become part of something amazing. And that became what he couldn't stop doing. He couldn't stop thinking about it and talking about it and sharing it and expressing gratitude for being part of it, even though he was in prison, even though people were out to kill him, even though he still wasn't fixed. He was still kind of flawed. Imagine that. Paul was one of those heroes that the Bible seems to like to talk about. We talked about that dangerous book. I don't have a copy up here with me, but you all know what they look like, those Bibles that have been around for so long. And how do we keep them dangerous? In the good way. One of them is to realize that the heroes the Bible likes to hold up are not superhero heroes. Or superhuman heroes. They're normal human heroes, like you and I, like Paul. We have flaws, and yet we're part of something amazing. And Paul called that the body of Christ. The body of Christ. It sounds kind of weird now. But think about how would you describe that? How could we describe this embodiment of what Jesus and the story was trying to help us see? The embodiment of this integrity of the universe, of this connectedness, of this oneness of all diverse parts that are connected together. That's what Paul said, I'm a part of, you're a part of. Mary Oliver calls it the family of things in the poem called Wild Geese, which is in your homework as an assignment. to read, listen to. But both Paul's story and his metaphor of the body and the game show and all this morning, our songs, I think they're all pointing to something that to me might be one of the most important things that we can help each other remember. And that is this: there are no throwaway parts. There are no throwaway parts. So can you look back at your list on the top? Speaking of math, I think a lot of people might say, if you want a formula for well-being, and you got these two lists in front of you, well, it's clear that your total well-being score would have to be column 1, all the amazing things, all added up, minus column 2, all the not amazing things, equals your total well-being. That seems like something the world might tell me. It kind of makes sense. But when you go to that number 3 idea, that I am part of something amazing, the math totally changes. So I want to share a poem about the math, the arithmetic of life woven deeply. And the poem is called Addition, and it's by Carrie Newcomer. My father taught me about numbers. How to carry forward what had grown too large for its column, add the 5 to the 7, carry forward the 10, leaving only the 2. It's like that. Taking all you've come through, combining everything, gathered and lost. Add to the sum a little kindness for doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. Tally up all the 5s and 7s, all the 6s and 4s, all that came up odd or even. Then carry forward your expanded self, which has grown beyond the limits of the first container. Nothing is ever truly gone. It only changes places. Your well-being, your growth, your success as part of this body, part of this family of things, it doesn't require any subtraction. It all belongs, all the stuff you might want to get rid of, all the stuff you might want to forget, all the stuff about yourself, about the world that you want to shun. It all belongs. It might be transformed. You might be able to let it go, but it's still a part of what you have to bring, right? All of it. The poet, Carrie Newcomer, was reflecting on this poem and was describing it as kind of like a potted plant. Like if you have ever had a house plant and it started to not look so great, and you realize, oh, I think the pot's too small and it's got a bunch of roots in there and they need more room. It's kind of like that. She says, we keep learning, my friends. We add this experience and then the next, and if we are willing, our hearts expand, our roots expand into the next growing edge. If we are willing. Sometimes we're not willing. Sometimes we don't feel ready, right? The shock of moving out of that safe container that we're used to, that comfort zone we talked about last week. The plants feel it. Sometimes they're like pulled out of what they're used to, out there in nothing for a while until they find their settled place into a new, more roomy container, right? But that's scary. Change is hard. That's why I love these lines from the poem about kindness. It was add to the sum a little kindness for doing the best you could with what you knew at the time, with what you were ready for, what you were willing for then. I think we need to practice more kindness, people, to ourselves and to each other. So back to Dr. Murthy. He talks about the power of kindness. the healing power of kindness. So let's talk about those two words, healing and power or strength. Murthy says healing, as he talks about it and has found to be the most helpful, is to realize healing isn't about fixing. It's about remembering, reconnecting, making whole. I spelled the word remember weird on purpose on the Sunday paper. It's not only calling to mind, but we're doing something. We're putting something back together as we remember this. So healing is this remembering, putting back together all the needed and different parts into that one whole. And what gives Murthy hope, what helps him come alive, what he can't stop working on and talking about, is that we all have the power and strength in us to be about that healing. You might not feel or appear super powerful or strong, the ways we might think it should look, those superhuman ways, never showing weakness. But like we all know deep down, Murthy says strength is not about that. Strength isn't about looking strong all the time and looking powerful. Strength, he says, is about the ability to give and receive love. That is the power. Murthy gives a prescription for healing all of these big ills that face us, personally, collectively. And the prescription is you. And you, 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 and me, and us together. And the amazing great news to me, and that Murthy repeats and keeps talking about, is we're already made for this. We're wired for what we need. We're wired for connection. And so it only takes a very little bit of kindness, a very little bit of investment in this human connection to actually start wheels turning and make big things happen. A little bit can go such a long way. So to close our time, I want to share Murthy's prescription. It's 4 things, and they're so simple. I am not saying they're easy, but they're simple. They're things we can all practice, and we can all practice together. So I'm calling it a prescription to remember today. So here's the first one. Spend 15 minutes a day connecting with somebody you care about. 15 minutes a day. So maybe there's someone that you don't see all the time, but you care about them. And a lot of times, boy, we forget there are more people than we think that care about us. So, wow, what could that do if more people got checked in with and reminded? Number 2, give others your full attention when you are with them. That's novel. Murthy talks about how our attention has this ability to stretch time. I mean, who doesn't want more time? But he pointed out that when people are really paid attention to for 5 minutes, they think it felt like 30. That's pretty cool. So, give your full attention. Number 3, find opportunities to serve others. Ooh, there's some magic in that one too. It turns out when we're feeling like we don't have anything to give, that is a great moment to go find some way to help. It turns out that when we help each other, we not only forge a connection with someone else, but with ourselves, because we remember, oh yeah, I'm a part of something. I have value. So find places to serve. It interrupts those spirals of fear that we can get into. And the last one, solitude. Solitude. To help with our loneliness, because you see, loneliness isn't really about being with a certain number of people all the time. It's about the quality of our connections. And we need solitude to connect with the most important person, ourselves, because that is who is available to connect with, right? If I'm an empty shell and I try to have a relationship with you, it's a little hard if there's nothing in there. So we need solitude to invest and enjoy being ourselves and get to know who we are. So as Fabric, we talk about these three strands of God and ourselves and others. And when we say others, we don't just think of people. And I love trying these out with those others that Tim brought up earlier, too, the swans and the cygnets and the water and the trees. What about those? What if we spend 15 minutes a day connecting with a part of nature we care about? What if we give it our full attention sometimes? What if we find opportunities to serve the water, to serve the trees, to serve the soil, the air? And what if we let it feed us in those moments of solitude? Yeah. These things, they're not that hard. Are they? Are these things we can do? We can try? I want to just invite everyone to look around the room here. Just look around at the people, these beautiful faces. Look around at what the kids are making. Maybe look out the windows. I see the leaves blowing around out there. There's a breeze. That makes me think of the people I know that are out and about. The people on live stream, the podcast, the people we all love that aren't in this room, the people we don't know yet. And now I want you to join me in repeating. Just repeat after me to close out here, okay? I am part of something amazing. Something amazing. You are part of something amazing. You are part of something amazing. We are part of something amazing. We are part of something amazing. Let's say that one more time, but louder. We are part of something amazing. Yeah. All right. Guess what? We are part of something, many, many amazing things, big things, including Fabric. And sometimes some of our parts move on. And today we are saying a special goodbye to the Brown family who's going to be moving. So Greg's going to come on up and help send the Browns off. And everybody, you can also just stand up because we're going to move around for this. And then we're going to also get to sing together at the end. So this is a good time to stretch and stand up. And Browns, come on up. We wish we weren't having to do this, but.
Yeah. Robin and Tim have been a part of Fabric, some of the important threads here for 6 years. As Tim was in residency and so on, and is now taking a position with a hospital in Madison, Wisconsin. This is your last Sunday here, and we're almost formally, yeah, making the transition out. But we want to send them off. We don't want to lose them, but we also want Madison to have the amazingness that they're going to bring with the unique shape that they have to do amazing things there too. So that we've done this a number of times. I'm going to ask you guys, why don't we just sneak up here, and everybody else kind of just move in. Yeah, why don't you guys come up and join me right here? And I invite everyone to kind of move in, and if you're close enough, you can just put a gentle hand on a shoulder, coming up to the first step. I know. And otherwise, connect. Yeah, anywhere here is good. And you can put a hand on the shoulder of the person next to you. And the fabric that we are a part of spans the entire universe and connects things that we don't even know exist. It also connects us in ways that we don't know exist. And now, as Robin and Tim and Alma and Willa and Scout head to Madison and to a new home and a new life, we are thankful for the threads, the strands that they will weave to make those communities alive and well and thriving, and that will also support them and help them at the times when they learn how to be there and learn how to find new friends and to make those friendships and to be at school and to be at work and to be parents and kids and sisters with one another. So be with them and strengthen them, and let us not be dismembered from them, but to remember them and remember our community, remember who you have made us to be together. All this we ask in the name of all that is, in the name of you, God, in the name of each of us that bring our amazingness and our not amazingness to this community that we are together. Thank you. Go with peace. Godspeed. And stay together. Tim's going to sing something here with us together.
So we're just going to do an old English folk song, and I'm going to not be hooked up to a chord, so you'll catch it by the end, and sing some harmonies if you would. It goes.
Thank you, Tim. Really love having you here. All right, and all of you, love having you here. Browns, we're going to miss you. So before you go, you got your prescription, right? One of the things that can help you remember is having some poetry, some words in you. So there's a poem suggested that you can roam through. Wild Geese, I mentioned that a little bit. There's also some readings from Paul, those letters he wrote. There's a little bit of Paul's story. And then there's a big story that they all knew that also helps you understand this. So let those words help you remember. Let each other help you remember. And Let's go. Let's all go together. Thank you.